Let's get some early predictions for the Sweet 16, and for that, we welcome in SportsLine senior analyst Larry Hartstein and everyone's least favorite analyst, Tim Doyle. Everyone's favorite analyst, Tim Doyle. Tim, we start with you. Of the 8 games we'll see in this round, who is the favorite you like to cover?
Todd, it's Antetokounmpo, okay? And I butchered it as well when I tried to say it. The team that I like the most favorite-wise is USC. How about the Pac-12? Stand up if you're a Pac-12 fan. I know there's not too many. I feel like the Pac-12 sports, football and basketball, have been kind of pushed off to the side. Almost like Kelly Kapowski when her dad lost his job in Saved by the Bell. You were allowed to come to the prom, but you gotta go to the prom outside. Well, they've showed up to the prom in Pac-12, and they've been really good. USC has been really dominant. I mean, they embarrassed Kansas yesterday. I actually felt bad for Kansas. I took a page from William Wallace and Braveheart. Mercy, it was the largest loss in the history for Kansas in the NCAA tournament. And then they beat up on Drake. Obviously, Evan Mobley gets a lot of love, and rightfully so. He might be the top pick in next year's draft. He's definitely gonna be 1 or 2. But his brother Isaiah is really tough. Andy Edfeld's been outrageous in the tournament. You take a look, record right here. Dunk City, remember he got that team to a Final Four in 2013, and now at USC he's doing it again. I'm not sure, Larry, if Oregon could play any better than it did against Iowa. I know Iowa can't guard a chair, but the Ducks did not miss in that spot. They played once already this season. It was all Trojans, and I expect USC to run wild again.
Tim, I remember that game because I was on the Ducks, and I think USC got off to like a 17-0 start in that game. But I'm going to look at Baylor against Villanova. You know, Villanova doing so well without Colin Gillespie, but who have they beaten? I mean, Winthrop had not played anyone all season. They were 23-1, but they were a paper tiger. And then North Texas. I know they shot 16-26 from deep. They have a lot of good shooters, but this Baylor team, oh my, they took apart Wisconsin. Wisconsin top 20 nationally in defense. Baylor took them apart. They got the big 3 with Butler, Teague, and Mitchell. And now you bring off Matthew Meyer off the bench, 6'9" guard, shooting, pouring it in, 17 points inside and outside. I just love Baylor to cover this number.
All right, so those are the favorites. Now we turn our attention to the underdogs. There are obviously 8 of them in the Sweet 16. I did the math for you. Larry, which underdog is most likely to cover this weekend?
Well, the Golden Eagles have been really good to me in the first 2 rounds, and now you're giving me 11 or even 11.5 against Arkansas. They played Arkansas. They had a 10-point lead at halftime of that game. They ended up losing by 11. But if you go back and look at that game, Max Abmas, the leading scorer in the nation, only had 11 points in that game, only played 33 minutes. And Todd, I say only 33 because they have a new strategy with Abmas and O'Banner. They don't come off the court. 40 minutes, 40 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, and 40 minutes. That's how much Abmas has been playing with all the TV timeouts and all the breaks. These guys are fresh. I'm not going to call for the outright upset, but Oral Roberts is going to give him a good game.
Larry, you're going to make one Ned Flanders of The Simpsons fame very happy. He's actually a graduate. Well, I guess a fake graduate of Oral Roberts. So get excited, Ned. Yeah, I'm rooting for Oral Roberts as well. Plus, you're going to get all the points in the spot. Why not, Larry? I'm all about it. Raise your hand if you have Michigan winning their region. And no hands will go up because nobody has picked Michigan to get out of their region. And this is the game they stubbed their toe because Florida State is tall. Florida State is athletic. Florida State can defend. In 2 tournament games, their opponents are scoring only 53.5 points a game, and they have that size to match up with Hunter Dickinson. And I know that Michigan got an outstanding effort from 2 guys that don't average double figures. They each had 21 points, but you're talking about a different animal here in Florida State. Go watch Florida State's highlights this year. It's like a mixtape. They are flying through the air, throwing alley-oops. Scotty Barnes got the best pro potential on the court, and I think this is where we say bye-bye to Michigan. But maybe who's their most famous alum, Todd? Because, I mean, Oral Roberts has Ned Flanders. Who the heck went to Michigan?
No, I was going to talk about Florida State. Their spring break party is already out of control. What if the Seminoles make it to the Final Four? We're just going to have to cut the state off with a saw and send it out into the Atlantic Ocean. All right, let's focus now on the 8 games that we do have this weekend in the Sweet 16. I need an over-under that's off to you as we get set for the games on Saturday. Tim, dial it in.
Yeah, I love Gonzaga's matchup against Creighton because Creighton could not stop Larry Hartstein, me and you, Todd. Let's get Akeem Dermish and Joe Musso. We can go out there and put 74 points on the board right now. Gonzaga averages nearly 93 points a game, and this is a 100 spot. Billy Bob from Varsity Blues went 10. This is a 10 with a 0 on the end of it, which is 100. Gonzaga team total points, they score as many as they want.
I like that. I'm going to go back to that Baylor-Nova game. Baylor averaging 83 points, Nova averaging 76 points, and we saw how well the Wildcats are going to shoot. I think this ends up around 80 to 70, 139.5, way too low for this total.
Okay, well, obviously the lines for these games are going to fluctuate a little bit as we get closer to tip-off. What wager do you see out there right now that our viewers might want to jump on before things change? Tim?
I'm going to give you a little parlay action here. And everyone says parlays are sucker bets, okay? You're looking at them, okay? Sucker number one. Who parlayed Ohio on the money line? Beat Virginia. Hello. Thank you very much. That parlay paid real sweet. You know, it's survive in advance. It's not survive in advance by 7 points. I'll give you 2 teams that are not going to lose. Loyola's not losing. They're not losing to Oregon State. Would I lay points? I don't know. They play so slow and they drag you out. Like, I wouldn't be surprised they won the game like 48-44. And Houston, they survived. I mean, they actually had no business beating Rutgers. They were down 10 late in that game, and then they flipped the switch. And now I went back and watched the film in that game. They missed 4 layups and 4 free throws down the stretch. If they would have made those, they would have won drawing away. This was the matchup I had before the tournament started. Houston versus Loyola. I have Houston winning in my bracket and advancing, but I got to be fully transparent. I call Loyola games. I live in Chicago. I'm going to be rooting for Loyola. So picked Houston, root for Loyola. I have that emotional hedge, Larry, but both of these teams are absolute locks. They are not losing.
I don't know about that Houston being a lock, because I'll tell you what, the point guard Giroux dealing with the hip pointer, and you look at the last 3 games that they have played against decent competition. That's Memphis again, and Rutgers. They barely squeaked by. Probably shouldn't have even won that game if Rutgers knew how to close it out. Yeah, they destroyed the mediocre and the bad teams in their conference by 20, 30, 40 points. But now you get a Syracuse team with that 2-3 zone with Buddy Boeheim shooting 57% from 3-point range. And you're going to give me 6. It was 6.5. All the sharp money on Syracuse. I think this could close even lower. I'm on the orange.
He's on the orange. Let's go a little big picture right now. Midwest, West, East, and South. Those are the regions. Larry, what's your best team to win their region and go to the Final Four?
Well, this is going to make Tim happy. I'm going to go back to Loyola, and it has to do with their region because of the other 3 teams in there, not dominant at all in terms of Oregon State, Syracuse, and Houston. They're plus 170 to win the region. I think that's great value. You know, when they get up 6 points on you, as Tim knows, it feels like 12 or 14. They're just going to bleed the clock. They give you nothing easy. I actually think they're going to have a tougher time with Oregon State than they are in the next round, but give me the Ramblers.
Yeah, and isn't Cameron Krutwig, guys, going to be running like a union labor job in like 3 years, like somewhere on the south side of Chicago? He's going to be like Boston people around. He's got that great stash, the receding hairline. His basketball IQ, I would put in the same sphere, and I'm being serious about this, as a Luka Doncic, as a John Stockton. Like, he knows how to play that well. And when Kofi Cockburn backed off of him, he just picked them apart. And the guy single-handedly won the game. They ran that play every single time. They went handoff, and then it just, like, it was easy time and time again. Illinois, if they would have played Loyola 10 times, they would have lost all 10 times. That was not a competitive game. The tournament's over. Gonzaga's winning. Maybe Baylor could beat them on their best day, but Gonzaga is by far and away the best team. They've been the best team since day one. Are they a generational type team? No, they're not. Like, they couldn't beat like Bill Walton's UCLA team or Lou Alcindor, who became Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, or the great Duke teams. No, but for this time, they're so much better. With Suggs and Kispert being lock lottery picks, Timmy with his dirty stash scoring down low, and then the bench with Cook and so many other guys. They have such a high basketball IQ that it is over. The storylines are great. We're going to see Gonzaga play USC, get the best pro prospect, going against the best team. Tournament's over. Gonzaga's a lock.
All right, let's go for the whole kit and caboodle. Who's going to win it all? Obviously, undefeated Gonzaga, the favorite at plus 150. Tim, please enlighten us.
Yeah, I just think that now that the bracket has kind of fallen their way, bye-bye to the number 2 seed. Raise your hand if you had Iowa. Of course I had Iowa because I saw that Iowa matchup in the Elite Eight being maybe a 4.5, 5-point spread. And instead, they're not going to see that because, hold on, boom, Oregon just scored again on Iowa. I mean, they played no defense whatsoever. Watch how they move the ball. If I was coaching like a Pee-wee team or a squirt team, yes, I just called little people squirts. Like you watch Gonzaga, watch that ball move side to side. They play inside out. They play old school. They play like 1984 basketball. And the game now, the guys are more talented now, but the game is easier to play. And if you have a high basketball IQ, just watch Cameron Krutwig, watch Nikola Jokic. The fact that they know how to play, the game is easier now. They're so much smarter than everybody. Gonzaga, folks, book it. It is over. I would say hammer it, Larry, but I left my hammer in the Horseshoe Casino, but I stole a vest from one of the blackjack dealers. So I guess it was a pretty good deal.
Well, I hope somebody picks up that hammer and returns it because I don't know what CBS Sports HQ is going to do without that, Tim. But yeah, I was on Gonzaga before the tournament. There's no reason to get off. I didn't think they played particularly well. They still won by 16, covered at the last minute in a heartbreaking bad beat for people who had Oklahoma plus 15.5. 4 players that are going to be drafted in the first 40 of the NBA draft. This is the highest rated team in the history of KenPom analytics. Yeah, the Zags take it all.
No one's going to talk about Alabama? My family's watching in Jacksonville, Alabama right now. Tim, give me something about Roll Tide.
They can certainly score. They have an identity. I haven't gone in the Final Four, but guess who they run into in the Final Four? They're going to run into Gonzaga. So if they make a bunch of threes, hey, anything could happen. I thought they looked dominant yesterday, but live by the 3, die by the 3. And if they start missing, Florida State's waiting for you. I haven't beaten Florida State, but if you like Alabama, I get it. Didn't you used to party at Jacksonville State?
Hey, who
like
didn't?
Run up and down?
Yeah, I mean, we're going streaking. Hey, by the way, you asked me who the most famous alumni from Michigan is. You tell me. It's either Gerald Ford, James Earl Jones, or Madonna. Who do you like there, Larry?
Come on. Madonna did not go to school there.
She received a dance scholarship as she dropped out of college, but she did go. There you have it.
Oh, well.
Got to be Madonna.
So,
that is senior analyst from SportsLine, Larry Hartstein, and, of course, Tim Doyle. Here's a look at their picks. Tim's top favorite to cover is USC against Oregon, while Larry likes Baylor against Villanova. In terms of underdogs, Tim likes Florida State against Michigan. Larry going with Oral Roberts, the 15th seed against Arkansas. Tim's best total play is Gonzaga over 86.5 points. Larry likes over 140.5 points in Villanova Baylor. Tim's best wager to make now for the Sweet 16 is a moneyline parlay with Loyola Chicago and Houston. That'll pay out at minus 116. Larry likes Syracuse to cover against Houston. Both Tim and Larry like Loyola Chicago to win the Midwest and Gonzaga to win the national title.
Want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis. No yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.